living wage, which they said is the best ways to stimulate the economic growth, eradicate poverty, and revive our industries. And then to find a new minimum wage, And then thirdly, wasteful pathways by the government, as well as in terms of expenditure, must be avoided by the government. And then fourthly, the payroll must be clean. This labor have agreed that the payroll must be clean to remove redundant, lazy, and incompetent workers. And then millions of additional jobs are needed in schools, in hospitals, in military, and other law enforcement agencies. And then at the end of the meeting, 100,000 naira and 120,000 naira were suggested, but they are yet to arrive at a given figure. So 100,000 naira or 120,000 naira. Maybe the meeting will continue today, or probably both parties will go back to consult with their principals, and then come back to reconvene again. So assuming some of these demands being led by the government and those that were led by the representatives of the Labour Congress, to what extent are they going to help in promoting this agitation for minimum wage?
Well, my concern here is that there are no foreigners among those that are agitating for increase in national minimum wage, and those that were saddled with responsibility of governance. They are all Nigerians here. But the ridiculous aspect of this discussion or these challenges is the fact that government is known to be very wasteful. While the National Assembly is earning larger than life, there are other agencies of government that are earning larger than life, and we are in this same country working for wealth creation for the purpose of improving socio-economic lives of Nigerians. NMPC, CBN, meeting and security, so many of them like that. They have special salary scale. Yet, those that are on the forefront of war, battling state enemies and insecurity, their salaries have been improved. Teachers who created the need for manpower resources that are being used for productions of economic gains in the country are not being paid. They are on the list. So until you look at these areas and improve their package, services and productivity will not be attained, and again, the sector will be suffering a lot of setback. Look at what teachers are earning. Yes, they are the creator of the human resources that build even those that are working in presidents and other areas. So my concern here is that government has the resources, and they must reduce wastages and reduce the earning of members of National Assembly and others, and let us see point of equilibrium where we can be seeing that we are working for the same government in the same country, and then we are there to put in the patriotic that Nigerians are yearning for. Because outside of this disparity, there can be commitment on the part of citizens to really put in their best in terms of productivity. Because it's like it's a new colonialism of some other Nigerians against others, and it shouldn't be. Exactly. So my concern is that at the level of 120, I think it's a very good offer. And as far as inflation is concerned, it can be controlled, because the areas of concern is food and food commodities, product of agricultural value chains, and they can set up price control agencies and mechanisms and enforcement, because those things are produced locally. They do not require any foreign intervention. So it is just another deliberate wickedness on part of humanity who are in these production sectors to suffer other people. Even though one will appreciate the fact that the cost in petroleum products has forced the transport operators to increase the price, to the ceiling level, but it's not enough. Those things can be controlled, and that is where this government should be seen to be very proactive. Failure to do this, no matter the increments in the poor salary or national wages of workers, the situation will still remain the same. We want to see a situation where measure of maize is going for 50 naira, measure of beans is going for 100 naira, measure of palm oil. All this should come down. The moment is able to address human safety, food security, then every other thing will come down, and there should be strong enforcement, like in the era of Buhari military regime, where essential commodities were made available at control price, then Nigeria will be better for it.
But if you say prices of food items should come down as low as what you have suggested now, of 50 naira, 100 naira, that will mean you're changing the farmer who produced them at a great cost. Because how much does a fertilizer cost now? How much does a herbicide cost now? And all sorts of costs.
In other climes, government intervention strictly is on two major areas of social needs of humanity: food and health, education inclusive. Those are the major areas of humanity needs, including energy, like electricity. If all these areas are subsidized by government, people, there will be more jobs to be created, the country will be safer, the polity will be stable, corruption will be eliminated, enforcement of the law, the constitution will bite. Are you getting me now? And everybody will be at the same page.
Okay, Dr. Isgogo, 100,000 naira or 120,000 naira, looking at competing demands around this minimum wage or living wage, school fees to be paid, hospitals bills are there, electricity bills, and all other bills, relatives, both close and distant, are all on that minimum wage. To what extent do you think 100,000 naira or 120,000 naira can be a living wage in Nigeria?
Well, if that is what government is willing to offer at the moment, workers may have no option than to accept. But then, looking at the economic situation of the country, you realize that 100,000 cannot go a long way in alleviating poverty in Nigeria, because already maybe we may have to just go back to if we start to trace the history of the theories of wage determination,
okay,
like David Ricardo in 1817, when he came up with the theory of subsistence. He said laborers are paid just to enable them subsist. And
survive.
yes, to survive.
Not to live.
Yes,
to survive.
yes, and recreate more races, so that in the future there will be more workers.
That is it.
He said that is just the essence of wage creation. But then we also have the traditional theories of wages, which sometimes look at which doesn't focuses on demand and supply of labor, such that only those areas that are productive are giving higher wages than those that are not productive. So if government of Nigeria may likely want to come into this type of theory, that is, we say, okay, medical doctors, okay, yeah, this is a very productive profession. Teachers, very productive. I mean, those whose services can be felt or seen, compared to working in a local government secretariat or a state secretariat and receiving the same salary as a teacher. So there, in that theory, it is about your productivity.
What you put in.
What you
measure
put in,
of
yes,
your input.
of your input.
That enhance economic
That
productivity.
may enhance economic development.
Sometimes ago, the federal government is already thinking about this, coming up with earnings that enable workers to earn higher, even though you are on the same grade with someone. If you work harder, you earn higher than him because of the input, because of the hard work that you have been able to inject into the work. I think
yeah, that would have been okay, doctor. But then there is this negotiation again. This is the one we are facing now. That is a product of negotiation, where labor unions, on behalf of their workers, go and negotiate for a flat minimum wage that will just come to everybody, regardless of regardless of
this idea that to make the difference.
Yeah, that is there too. But then we are talking about wage determination now, capping. So depending on how government wants to look at it, but then
are you of
the whole essence of this
capping should not be uniform?
It shouldn't have been.
When you say minimum wage, that is devoid of all allowances.
Yes.
And I believe that if you are now agitating that the capping should not be uniform because certain professions are more essential than others, I think that also will create a whole new challenge on this issue of agitation. Once they agree maybe on 100,000 naira, it should be 100,000 uniformly, and then allowances can make the difference.
Well, it could be, but it's not still perfect, because a medical doctor that has to contend with more than 50, 30 patients, go to the hospital and see, they are overburdened. They are very, very much overburdened because of shortage of manpower there. Same like nurses there. So you can't compare somebody on that field that spent almost 24 hours going on surgical operations, attending to patients to make sure that the ailment is cured and the life are safe, to somebody who is in the class that will lecture for only 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and go by the day. You can see what we're talking about. So the disparity must be there.
But
they should professionalize it.
He goes back to make researches, to mark script, and then prepare for the next.
No, what I'm saying, I'm not relegating it. I'm just telling you the essentials of those sectors that need to be given consideration based on the reality of their functionalities and contribution to national growth economically. That's what I'm saying.
Are you also saying that there shouldn't be a uniform capping for minimum wage?
There can be uniform capping, but the differential should be in what you are talking about in allowances. That we have an edge or one group over the other. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thank you so much, Dr. Isgogo. This issue of minimum wage has always been very problematic, especially when you look at from the era of Adams Oshomole, when he was the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress during Obasanjo's administration to now. Nigerians are yet to get it right as far as minimum wage is concerned. Every now and then it has to go to the negotiation table. Sometimes it has to be after even threats of strike and all of that. In other Senate climes, minimum wage are always decided without even the citizens knowing.
It's on the constitutions because our leaders abuse it. It is 5 years review. But in the last one, it was over 8 years. Why is it 8 years? When this thing is statutorily embedded in the constitution to be respected, and it wasn't respected. And don't forget that we have made down on 2, 3 occasions, during the period under review. And that could be one of the reasons why they could not look at it as an option. Since we are not even earning enough because of devaluation in the currency against the dollar, and then depleting of the foreign reserves. Those are issues that contributed to the poor economic situation that this government has inherited and has to face squarely, because they can't be excused. That is the truth of the matter.
One other issue, Doc, like you earlier asked about where they have to go. I mean, sometimes it has to lead to strike before government responds to, such negotiations. Like in this sitting now, we have private employers, who there are certain amounts.
60,000.
Yes, there are certain.
It was a conspiracy against the labor.
Yeah.
When we know surely, and we have brothers and sisters working in private sector, they are any more than those in public sector. They are any more than those in government sector. So this is also a conspiracy against the people of Nigeria and against the working force, the NLC and his members. Why can the employers constructive forum, private employers, be saying they agree with federal government on 60,000? They've had their internal discussion and agreed. They let us continue to enslave these people so that we will continue to steal the money, the people's money, the commonwealth for ourselves.
Okay, Isgogo, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, even though I may differ a little bit from Dr. Jabi, especially concerning these private employers. Yes, if you talk of those manufacturers, those large industries can be able to pay above government minimum wage. But you should also consider the smaller industries that cannot be able to pay. So whatever is agreed upon should be such that even the smaller industries can be able to, even if they can meet up to something reasonable. So we are trying to look at a situation like where you have private schools, for example, in Mina, beside the big ones. If you look at these other private schools, there are those that are average that cannot pay 100,000 minimum wage to their teachers.
Even the 60,000.
Even the 60,000, yes, that cannot pay. So sometimes I think both parties will have to look at this. Yes, for government, it can be able to pay that. no doubt, or more.
Yes.
Yes, but then once they set that threshold, it will be difficult for some of these private sector practitioners to be able to meet up, and there will be a clear and a very wide disparity between.
That was the wisdom behind that agreement by
Yes.
the private sector.
Yes.
Association. Now, Dr. Jabi, you are saying it's a conspiracy against the Nigerian citizen for the private sector to have agreed on 60,000 naira. Don't you think if they decide to go with the government negotiation and NLC, tendencies are that school fees are likely to increase because the school proprietor will have to increase the school fees to be able to meet up that wage. Private hospitals will have to increase their bills to be able to meet up with that minimum wage that you are saying is a conspiracy against the Nigerian citizens. Don't you think the private sector probably is right to have taken a halt as far as this negotiation is concerned?
If
and agree simply on 60,000.
If the government provides the enabling environment with a very strict financial discipline and a very clear-cut patriotic commitment to the citizens' welfare, all these issues will not be there. Look, first, before you talk of profit on the part of the private sector, what matters a lot, the responsibility of a government, legitimate government, is to care for the needs of our people, our citizens, and improve the socio-economic life through provision of welfare facilities. And that's why the government should look inward instead of giving money excessive beyond the ceiling to some National Assembly members, a politician who cannot even write his name correctly, go to the National Assembly and is paying a fantabulous amount of money that can pay over 200 workers on retirement as retirement benefit. It is a coup d'etat economically. That's what I'm saying. They should reduce the earning. They should reduce it. What is stopping them? How can the Constitution allow National Assembly to fix its own salary for its members? How is National Assembly bigger than the Constitution of the country? It is a cause against humanity, should not be allowed to hold. I don't know what are the lawyers in the country doing about that. How can you allow an organ of a government to fix its own salary on its own and it's working?
And at the moment, the National Assembly is said to be consuming about 25% of the country's
because they've given them the leverage to determine whatever they want to earn at the detriment of the vast majority of Nigerian citizens, 250 million, that are wallowing in poverty and penury.
Okay, thank you so much, listeners. In case you are just joining us, the program is Nigeria Today, and we are discussing the agitation for minimum wage, implication for inflation, and other economic challenges that are likely to confront Nigerians even after this agreement. And part of the outcome of last night's meeting, of course, was a series of agreements, conditions led by the government and conditions led by the labor. And of course, two campaigns were suggested. And probably the meeting will continue today or in the later days. We wouldn't know, but whatever it is, we give you an update from that particular meeting. And you can join us on this discussion through the number 09038808883. You can visit our Facebook page on Prestigefm91.7mx. We have the first caller. Hello, good morning. Okay, we've missed this one. 09038808883. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Dantala.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, all the guests in the studio.
Good morning.
This is Mr. Butre from Jaraima, Wishio State.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Butte.
My brothers, all we are discussing here is because government has refused to prioritize the citizens' welfare. If at all government has prioritized the welfare of citizens, all this we are discussing may have not arrived.
Exactly.
Look at what you people are mentioning about this National Assembly paid. Members of the National Assembly, they are paid, or even the hardship allowance. Yesterday, it is over 1 million naira. With this subsidy, hardship allowance for a National Assembly member, a senator, I think it's 1.2 million monthly. So what are we talking about? If we can prioritize the welfare of citizens, the reforms, good. The economic reforms, very good. But this should not be done at the detriment of the welfare of your citizens. So Even the 60,000 we are talking, the private sector agreed. The moment they really are settled there, there will be incrementing tuition fees. No doubt about that. Go to private hospitals, there will be increase everywhere. So the only thing our government should do is government should learn whether probably to subsidize transport, to subsidize education, subsidize
agriculture,
everywhere.
and energy.
Just
that's what is on in other clients.
the welfare of citizens. That's the only solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bute from MIOCC. If you go to some other countries, Saudi Arabia, for example, you buy chicken at a very cheap price.
Because there's mass production of poultry.
And then there's mass production of poultry, and then there's subsidy in poultry.
That's what we are saying.
So because of that subsidy, the price of chicken is so
Very low,
in Saudi
yes.
Arabia.
And it improves the nutritional value of their citizens.
Exactly.
And reduce the dependency on health challenges in the hospitals.
Exactly.
Few citizens go to hospital there.
Yes.
Yes, now.
Yes, exactly. Okay, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Dr. Entela, good morning. This very good morning.
Morning,
Dr.
sir.
Jabi, good morning.
Morning, sir.
My name is Babale, calling from Kusenkura Police Headquarters.
Okay, go ahead, Babandi.
Dr. Entela, we have been talking much about the assembly and the federal government. These people is not the Nigerian that is in their mind. I always say it. It is not Nigerians that is in their own mind. Let me just recite a short, says of the national pledge. I pledge Nigeria, my country, to be faithful,
That is the old one,
loyal, and honest.
That's the old one.
Where is the faith? Where is the loyalty? And where is the honest in these people's mind? And again, to defend her unity, which of the total destruction of Nigerian unity is what they are doing.
Exactly.
Total destruction of unity. We are not in their mind completely. They don't know why they are there. They don't know what they are doing. They open their market. The red and the green chambers have become retirement home to former governors and chairmen. It is a retirement home where they will go and make their money and go away. Dream. Somebody that is drunk yesterday and dream the next morning he will come and say we should change the national anthem. Please. Is this what the Nigerians are all about?
No.
Look at the suffering. Look at what is happening. Just a minimum wage. They are collecting a multiple of millions on allowances. Constituency allowances in multiple of millions. Buying cars in multiple of millions. Are you telling me that these people is Nigeria that is in their mind? Nigeria is not in their mind. And Obasanjo has said it. The Western democracy has not favored Nigeria. The type of democracy we are running in this country is too expensive. Very, very expensive. This is just form of acting big man. We are not up to this task that we are running such, expensive democracy in this nation.
Presidential
cannot
system
pay
from
minimum
America.
wage. You cannot pay minimum wage.
Before we go back to parliamentary.
And let me tell you something. If at all we want to help the labor in terms of we want to fight this administration to give us to pay the civil servants their own minimum wage that is at least average. Me and you, the wheelbarrow pusher, somebody that is vulcanizer, somebody that is in his shop, the market, so totally we should shut down the whole country. We should shut the whole country down. Transportation, no. And nothing that is going on in this country. If I can remember, there's a country, is it Indonesia, because of tariff of electricity, they shut down the whole country. Everybody say we are not going out just because of tariff of electricity. What is happening in this nation? Let us help this labor so that we should show them that, no, we are not happy with the way they are running the government.
After all, power belongs to the people.
Shut down the whole country. We should shut
Power
it down.
belongs to the people.
Nobody should go out. They will come back to their senses. But their strike is going on. Look at the activities that is outside. Like nothing is going on in this nation. How can we survive it? Thank you very much.
So much, Babali. Okay.
Yes, let me try to moderate a little bit. As much as people will want us to receive bumper salaries, we should as well be thinking of the implications. We don't want a situation where you go to buy close-up and they will tell you it's 5,000 naira per tube. We don't want a situation where you want to buy bread, you will have to pay 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira per loaf. We don't want a situation where a tuber of yam will be sold at 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira just because workers are now receiving bumper salaries. Dr. Jabi earlier said something about subsidizing agriculture, subsidizing productions. These are areas, if government had even delved into those areas, we may not even need to be asking of salary increase. Because by the time all those areas are subsidized, then you will realize that even at the current salary structure, we can afford those things. For example, everybody can afford a bag of rice, even from the current salaries, which is...
You know, one cannot say the government is not doing anything as far as agriculture is concerned, but the problem is that government intervention is not reaching the farmers who are supposed to be the recipient. Office farmers are always there serving as gatekeepers, goalkeeping everywhere and not allowing resources to pass down to the real farmer in the rural area. And that has always been the bend. If you look at the former administration of Muhammadu Buhari, for example, that administration has spent over ₦1 trillion in agriculture alone in terms of bringing in so many interventions in the area of agriculture. The anchor borrowers of all, we are all aware of what happened. Even our dear state here, Niger State, ₦4 billion was allocated to Niger State. Nobody have heard anything about that. And then anchor borrowers just came and go, just like a flash. And the ₦4 billion went down the drain with no production at all. So you can see that it is not that the government is not doing anything, but the hairy hand of corruption wouldn't allow the system to work. And I think this is one area the government needs to sincerely work upon, the issue of fighting corruption. Getting back all those monies that were stolen by those crooks in the last administration, so that
even previous since inception,
yes,
not only last
administration, able to
administration,
have enough money to settle some of these competing demands before it. And I believe if that happens, it will do us a lot of good.
it will not happen because when we are forming a government, it is cartels that form government in Nigeria. They can't probe outgoing regime because they know what happened. They are part of the crime in one way or the other. So it becomes very difficult. You need somebody like Abacha, the man with the lion heart, to come and handle the situation at hand and set the record straight. That is when we begin to see government is working for the people. But at present, the recoveries by this administration is enormous.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Scientifically, a lot of money is being recovered. Even those ones that were involved in the Agota, Syria, this loan something, they are recovering money. But the government is not accounting publicly what he has recovered. And we don't know where the money is being plowed to into improve the socio-economic life of Nigerians. This is the issue. So if government is doing some of its activities in shoddy and secrecy, it is unbelievable that citizens will continue to have confidence on the same government that is living larger than life. Because today, good number of Nigerians cannot even afford 1 square meal. They can't afford it.
True.
I don't want them to speak out. I'm afraid for this administration. Believing me, I slept last night and I couldn't sleep well. Because they are creating more poverty, creating more tension. The polity is no longer going to be stable. And then the watchdog, the man with the barrel of the gun, is watching situations. So they should not allow it. And let the National Assembly be bold enough to return this system of presidential government, really jettisoning it and go back to parliamentary system of government, so that we can reduce the burden of financial leverage that they are currently enjoying.
Don't you think it is not the system of governance that is the problem, but an average Nigerian need to reorientate himself or herself?
No, if they go to parliamentary system, the number of those that will be in the corridor of power will reduce. Their cost implication will reduce. Even their flair for exotic cars and other exotic materials will reduce, because the rules are there.
Even if we don't go back to parliamentary, the unicameral system of legislature will have done. so that we have a single, we
yes,
have a single
National
house
Assembly
instead of the two.
Yes.
Like we don't need the Senate actually. For me, as far as I'm concerned,
it's a retired
we
home for the
don't
aged.
need the Senate.
Yes.
What we just need is the House of Reps.
The green chamber.
Yeah, that should be enough. But government should as well consider the fact that when you pay workers, it trickles down and opens up the market and
creates more opportunity for jobs.
Yeah.
And then the environment is healthy.
When you pay me enough salary now,
Yes.
I will send something to my parents.
Yes.
Who will also go to the market to buy something. I will go to the market. I will buy fuel. I will do so many other things that will, you know, what do I call it? It will make the economy to pick up and be able to stimulate the economy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Dantala. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Javi and the other guests in the house.
Morning, sir.
My name's Dan Asabi, calling from Buso, New York, Gidan Chinchu.
Okay, go ahead, Nancy.
Dr. Dantala, sincerely speaking, we the youth totally were disappointed by our leaders. We are totally disappointed. And with the way things are going in this country, believe me, in fact, we cannot say anything, but God is there for us. And we always pray. If this is the democracy they are talking about, believe me, it doesn't fit Nigerians. And we always pray, when we pray to Almighty God, let the military come back. It's better for us. It's better for us. Dr. Antela, if our politicians want us to go back to slaves, we should be their slaves. Oh my God. Human being. I'm a human being.
Madam Dansebe, let me take you on this. You now is agitating that if the military takeover is going to be the final solution to all of these issues. But don't forget that even the military also appears to have failed in nipping in the bud the issue of insecurity that have come to bedevil the country in the last 15 or so years.
It's true, Dr. Antela, but sincerely speaking, if the military will take over this country, believe me, so many things it can't continue the way it is. There are so many things that is going to be fixed. Believe me, Dr. Antela, if our politicians will continue to be treating us this way, ordinarily, oh my God. Minimum wage is a challenge. Minimum wage. You are collecting millions of naira to your house only for you and your children, taking your children out of this country. We that are not children of politicians, we are suffering. We are suffering. Abba, this is our country. We are all Nigerians. Let's tell each other the truth.
And we work together
We're seeing what is going on.
Okay, thank you so much,
Allah,
yes,
Allah, you are buying millions of naira car. Somebody is there, doesn't have something to eat from morning till night, and you are driving millions of naira car.
They will start seizing the car from now.
Okay, thank you so much, Dansebe from Boso. And sometimes when you see people in affluence, you see people in luxury, it is not because they want to enjoy those affluence and luxury, but because they want it to be an insult in the eyes of the underprivileged.
They will suffer it.
That's how I look at it.
No, they will suffer it.
Somebody will come around with a Porsche car and then make some moves to attract attention, and then things like that. It tend to create that disunity because you make people to hate you for such kind of things.
Very soon.
It is no longer fashionable for someone to come and display affluence.
Illegally acquired at the detriment of the masses.
Okay, let's go back to the line again. Hello, good morning.
No longer middle class. We don't middle class since IBB left regime. No middle class.
Hello, good morning, doctor.
Morning, sir.
I welcome your guests in the studio.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Comrade Awal Balakuta, calling from Mina.
Okay, Awal Bala, go ahead.
Well, with relate to the salary issue, it's just like being in between the rock and a hard place. Because as it is now, whichever dimension you have taken, already we are living under high cost of living.
Okay.
And any attempt to increase the salary, definitely there will be also demand on from the private sector. And definitely those private sectors must definitely cover up their cost of production, which in turn the prices, will increase. So I want to align with what Dr. Jabi has suggested. Subsidizing the cost of production and other amenities will go a long way, to ameliorate this situation. I think that is the only way out. But because there is no how the private sector and the public sector will be at equilibrium in terms of our salary payment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Awal Balakuta, for your contribution. Okay, we have some messages here on our Facebook page, and let me go through them quickly. And Umar Nazmi is saying good morning. He said 30,000 minimum wage in 2019 was $84. Today, $84 is 121,800 naira. The least the government can do is to maintain the $84, not to drag the Nigerian workers back to paying 60,000 naira, which is now $41.
That's a very good calculation.
Yes,
oh, kudos to that man that did that.
Yes, Umar.
That's a very good one.
Of course, he said, imagine a Nigerian senator receiving hardship allowance when an average worker and citizens are facing rainbow colors of hardships without allowances at all. Thank you so much, Umar Azmi. Sani Baban Sani is saying, Assalamu alaikum, good morning to you all. I wish you all the best, and may Almighty Allah bless your radio station. Thank you so much, Sani Baban Sani, for that greetings. Our time is fast spent. Let's pick the last call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Angela.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jabi.
Morning, my brother.
Good morning, Dr.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good morning.
Our time is fast spent.
This is MDL from Kwakungu. Dr. Dantala, you can see our leaders, the kind of deep mess we find ourselves in this country. Our leaders, it means they are not serious about governing, for them to govern this country. What am I saying? So you can see we are on a strike yesterday. Likewise, the strike is continuing today. And it seems as if even the negotiation, you understand that the meeting that they're having yesterday is nothing to write home about. So where are we heading to? It's high time federal government will count the kind of loss, you understand, they've lost even yesterday alone, you understand, so that at least they will come to the a round table so that they can iron this issue out. Because NLC in their own part, you understand, let them reason with the masses, entire masses of this country. Because Dr. Dantala, a lot of people are suffering. Just strike of yesterday alone, you can see the kind of dimension we find ourselves in this country. So it's that time, you understand, they should resolve this issue quickly so that at least the masses will not suffer a lot. May Allah continue to see us through and rescue us in this country. That's my take.
Amen. Thank you so much, MD Awal. Okay, Dr. Jabi, quickly, a roundup now.
Okay.
100,000, 120,000.
Well, we'll go for 120 as a consolation. But and then while we go for consolation, the government should make sacrifice and ensure that the welfare of workers and Nigerian citizens is paramount.
Okay, Dr. Isgogo.
Yeah, we will accept 120 as consolation. I will align with Dr. Javi. But then government will still have to do so much in ensuring that there will be high investment in areas like agriculture, like production, like transportation, such that whatever we will collect can be of benefit.
Okay, whether 100,000 or 120,000 naira, salary remains a drug administered to an individual on monthly basis to let him forget his dreams. Thank you so much for being there. And the program has been Nigeria Today. Dr. Abdullahi Mohammed Jabi has been one of the discussants here, and Dr. Isgogo of the Economics Department of College of Education, Mina. We appreciate all your presence and your contribution.
Thank you so much.
And Ahmed Issa Sakpe has been the DC on duty, and Stephen Jia brought us live on our Facebook page. And on behalf of all of this, my name is Mohammed Dantala Aliu, hoping that you continue to remain good citizens of Nigeria. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.